Hello, my name's Karen Hewen and this is my brand new art channel, and today I'm going to show you how to paint this Bluebell Woods scene in watercolour. So here we are. I've made a chart of my watercolours, which is very useful because a lot of the colours look the same in the palette, but when you paint with them they're actually quite different. So first thing you do when you start watercolours is make a little chart for yourself so you can actually see what colours your paints are. Now I've dropped the water onto the paper just where at the top, coming down where the trees are going to be, and I'm working wet on wet. So I've made the paper wet and then dropped the colours in, the lime green and the dark green, and you can see that it just flows through and blurs all together, makes a nice kind of out of focus effect. And then I've gone onto the path and just let that fade into the distance. I didn't wet the paper for the path, I just painted that straight onto dry paper. And now I'm doing the blue for the bluebells, and then I realised I probably should do the trees first, so I've left those for the minute and gone in to draw the trees down. I am working from a reference picture, but I'm not following it, religiously. This is supposed to be kind of an impressionistic style, quite loose. And then so I started with a light brown, and then I went over it with dark brown to create shadow. I'll come back to that in a minute and shade them up some more once they've dried a little bit. Now I'm going to purple, and I'm just using a dotting motion just to like dab in the paint in, and then some green in between, like the grass. But it's just to create kind of a carpet of bluebells. So I'm just using light blue, dark blue, purple, and just dabbing it onto the paper. Now, and then I dried it in between there with a hairdryer. So now this is dry, so I can go over again without the paint running into each other. So I'm going down again with the dark brown once again, just to put that shadow on the sides of the trees, and just work it and drawing in some kind of faint branches as I go, just kind of putting them where I feel like they should go. And the two trees that the closest to us have a bit more detail than the rest, so I've kind of done some horizontal lines in with the shadowing. Then I've gone into dark blue to create the real deep shadow. It's nicer, dark blue is just nicer than black. So just going over the brown that I just did with the navy blue, and then I'll just get some water to kind of blend that in. And it will just all soak together and go in. And now I'm adding some more colour on top of the dry, so it gives more depth. So you've got different layers of watercolour. You start with one layer, let it dry, go in again, let it dry, go in again, and it just all creates this like nicely built up effect. So I dabbed the paint on, and then I actually went in with a cotton bud and just dabbed on top, and it gives a nice effect. Now I'm doing leaves in dark green and light green, going over the top of the trees now. So you had the background that we did, the first thing we did, and then the tree trunks, and now we've got the leaves, and we've got dark green, light green, and different levels of water that create lots of different shades of green, and you just literally dot it all over, and it just gives the effect of nice green leaves. I'm adding dark brown to the path in horizontal strokes, and then what I've done is dip my brush in some like dark blue and dark green. So I've got a wet brush and then I'm hitting it against another brush, and it's just making splatters. And I did that with dark green, purple and white acrylic ink, and it just creates these lovely drips and kind of little dots and splatters, which I really, really like. And I just added some of the white ink to the blue to create a lighter blue, kind of more opaque, and I just created some highlights. Now this little bottle, that's a squeezy bottle, it's just got plain acrylic ink, acrylic paint, white paint in it, and I use that to create the less random dots. So you can splatter them with the paintbrush, but then you can add them in a more purposeful way, the white dots. And the last thing I did was going with a black gel pen around the edges of the path and made some kind of stone shapes. And there we are. I hope you like it. I hope you've enjoyed that. And there it is in its, you can see all the little splats and dots. So that's it. Thank you for joining, and I hope to see you again soon.